Welcome to another episode of Dear Diaries, Abikeola. But today, it's not just Abikeola because I'm here with a guest who is a writer, a speaker, and a master of ceremony. My dear friend, Ayo Omotola. Welcome to my show, Ayo. It's good to have you here. I'm so glad that you are here, Ayo.
Finally.
That's
what I'm saying for now.
Yeah,
I remember during lockdown, when people were eager to meet with other persons that they've been having conversation with virtually. So that's what we've been having for the past 3 years, right? Except one time that
we met at
somewhere.
Yes.
So it's very good to be here. And I remember that very time, maybe we should use this to launch into it.
Okay.
Bishop T.D. Jakes wrote a book during that time when people couldn't just go to meet even family and friends. So he wrote a book titled Don't Drop the Mic. And the idea of that book is the importance of conversation in human life.
Okay.
So it's so crucial. Conversation is so crucial. And that's why I always love the fact that I study communications. It's so germane to human existence. So once again, I'm so glad to have been talking to you virtually, and I'm glad to
finally
be
here one-on-one. It's so good to see you. So let's start from your book, for instance. I did mention you're a writer, and for now, you've authored 2 books. One is fictional, while the other one is non-fictional. Do you consider yourself a fictional writer, non-fictional writer, or you're just leaving it open this time?
First of all, I'd like to say that there's difference between how many books have you authored and how many books have you published.
Okay. Okay.
This is my own word, it's not conventional thing. Because I remember, I know a lot of script that might not see publication, a lot of script that one have thrown away, a lot of beautiful story that I've written on Facebook, on my social media, So, yeah, you're right. So I actually published one. The other one has not been published because I did not print it. So, yes, to your question.
I've seen it. I read it.
Yes. I didn't print it. Yes. So, I authored 2 books. Yes, one is fiction and one is non-fiction. And the way I refer to myself in my bio is I am a creative writer. And why I always like that appellation is that I don't just write. I try to bring beauty into what I write. So if I want to talk about serpent, for instance, I don't call it serpent. So if I don't have any other creative name to call it, I might use reptile or poisonous reptile, because there are so many. So if I say poisonous reptile, it captures it, and that's when I know that this is more creative than to use everyday word. So I'm a creative writer. That's what I say.
That's so good. But at what point did you realize you could write? Because don't forget, I've said this to you more than once, that you inspired me, to even start reading. For me to say, okay, it's time for me to start reading, was because you inspired that, right? But at what point did you realize, oh my God, I can actually write? Let me start writing. Because
I never realized that I can write.
Okay.
I only know that I want to tell stories. And sometimes you don't care. I remember Chimamanda said in one of his public speeches that the first novel that she wrote, she prayed that nobody will see it. So if you have passion for something, if you are called for something, that thing will call you from inside, and then you just do it. Whether you do it unprofessionally or amateurishly, you just want to do it. So I have been wanting to tell stories. And then I just write, whether it's good or not. The ones I wrote some 12, 13 years ago, I might not be proud of it, but I kept writing until I began to get people's affirmation. or confirmation or endorsement that, guy, you write well. And I, oh, really? So that's just it for me.
You know, before I read one of your books, I used to think that for me to write a book, I must be somewhat successful to a certain level. Yeah. But when I read your book, I said, okay, I love to tell stories too. I can tell stories. In fact, I'm a very good storyteller in writing, not in, you know, I just started learning how to even present things and the way I want it to be presented. But when I read your book, I realized I could write. You know, I could actually tell my story without necessarily being successful the way I thought I should. So
every story is unique.
You said that.
Every story is unique, and everybody deserves to put his or story out there. Like I always say that people who are known, prominent individuals have stories too, and that is, unfortunately, that's what people want to read. Do you understand? The $10 of this world, the Dangote of this world. But there are people in the interior sides of life that have beautiful stories that can actually help. And I feel that autobiographies should actually, everybody should have a story written down, even if you don't publish it. You might just write it for your grandkids. And so just like we have that, I remember in school then, Dr. Omotola, where we say that your project will be the first story, the first book you will publish. And I was like, because I was working on A Night in the Morning, then I was like, no, it will be the second. So if it just, and one funny thing, the uniqueness about A Night in the Morning is that it is not just, though it is non-fictional, but it is not just about me. If you notice the first few chapters, I just have to narrate that story for people to know how we progress into the story. I was eager to tell the stories of people that I met, places that I have been to, and then their lifestyle, their culture, their way, and mannerism, and all sorts of stuff that I saw. So it's just like the curiosity of, or the eagerness of telling or sharing the stories. And I said in the foreword that it's just like the hunter that went into the bush. You know, it just came back and he wanted to tell stories of the adventures and the, you know, both hazard and, you know, everything he saw while hunting. So that's
now that you mentioned,
and I like the fact that he's been approved, because I have to say that by the Lagos State government, if deem it fit, that is actually a good read. The language is beautiful.
You have to see the book. You have to read it. It's a very good, beautiful read.
So
and you will be so inspired to even start writing your own story. You have to see it.
Thank you.
So now that you mentioned,
am I paying for that publicity?
No, I'm just being honest.
All right, thank you.
So you mentioned something that on the forward, you said, repeat what you just said when you
I said I mentioned in the forward, yes, that A Night in the Morning is like a hunter that, you know, went into the bush, and then when he came back, he just wanted to tell household and people all the adventures of the forest.
Yes, because that just reminded me of something you said in your book. Oh my God, I don't want to cry. You know, when I read your book, A Night in the Morning, you started with a beautiful story. Oh my God, I don't want to cry. You know, and you started with this beautiful story of your mom taking her children to school, and she was so intrigued. She was so hopeful. She had she was wondering and looking at, and boy sitters and said, so this is where the doctors, the lawyers, the higher mighties were made. You know, I'm paraphrasing. She was really hopeful, because now her children are going to be one of those people she has already admired. Meanwhile, she didn't get the opportunity to go to school because of the circumstances of the time, where they believe that women were not supposed to go to. Even a president once said that a woman's rights or something like that should be in the kitchen. So exactly, because I think is from their generation then.
It was a culture. It was a prevalent culture at that time. And unfortunately, we still see some of that in some part of the country these days.
That's so sad. So, and I was enjoying it. That page. And I was smiling. I could visualize, because my mom also followed me to elementary school then. And when they were asking us to stretch our hands, you know the normal stretching, or the initiation of
your hair,
yes,
screening,
yes, and then touching your ears, kind of thing. And I was enjoying, because I could see myself there. I could see my mom. We were just, I could visualize everything until you. Oh my God! Talk to me about. Okay, just go ahead.
I think what you're narrating is life. Things go this way. Life is not linear. Things go this way, and then all of a sudden something intervenes. All of a sudden it crashes. All of a sudden there will always be an intervention of divinity, of circumstances in life, and one should actually be prepared for whatever that comes our way, because it is just life. If you check the meaning of life or world that we have found ourselves, this place that we habit in, if you check it, dictionary will not give you the true meaning. And that is why nobody can actually define life. I think I read somewhere that they asked a lot of people to define life, and a lot of people were saying different things, but someone captured it better. He said that life is like a candle in the wind or in the breeze, kind of. So, and that's life. You will always go around with your candle, and all of a sudden one breeze will come and blow it off.
When we got to that page, as I was reading that book and got to that page, I think page 12, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
And I cried.
Don't cry, yeah, because
oh my God, I cried, because your mom was blessed with 8 children.
Yes.
Talk to me about what happened, please.
Okay, so I started with the story of, I introduced mom and my dad, who is actually the hero of the book. I nicknamed him Jagunlabi.
I was going to ask you about Jagunlabi later, but since you're giving the expo, let's go.
Okay, so my mom was not lettered. Is still not. You know, my dad is...
No, I don't want us to give all the book away.
Yes.
I need people to read it. Yes, I just want you to talk to me about what that happened to your... Your mom was blessed with 8 children. So, Bumi...
Yeah, Bumi
what happened to Bumi? Yeah,
Bumi died. Bumi died. She fell ill. As I was told, I didn't get to... I was not born yet. Then, 3 months after, Shade died, which was so devastating, or would have been so devastating for my mom, who was actually looking up to when the children would grow and then, just make life beautiful for her. And all of a sudden, after a few years, Dapo, I actually met Dapo. Dapo was a promising scholar. I remember he taught me ABC and 1, 2, 3. It was it was a brilliant man. If Dapo didn't die, he would have been a professor. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, like Jagunlabi,
all the teachers will come home and say, "Wow, where did you get this kind of brain?" And then Dad will be like, "My cane is working." But the guy was just a natural genius. But all of a sudden, that who was supposed to be the hope of my mom died too.
Before you go on, because I'm really trying to find a way to not cry. You talked about Kola. When Dapo died, Kola was the only one that was able to see Dapo.
Yes. In apparition.
Yes. Now, and he said, Mommy, come and see Dapo. Now,
you even understand this story.
Like, I want to get this right.
Okay.
And not long enough, in 1998, Kola now passed again, right?
Yes.
And you said something in that book that broke me. You said, in something, I'm paraphrasing, I suppose, Kola's death taught you how meaningless or something, the meaning of that with Kola's death, the meaning of loss becomes clearer to you.
Yes.
And away from you, what hit me was, then what will happen to your mom, who had experienced not just 1, not 2, not 3, but the 4th child? And you also said something. You said you also realize that a woman can see place a rapper enter when they lose their husband.
Exactly.
But when a woman, or when a woman loses a child, she care less about nakedness, because that's the last thing on her mind. And now I'm modeling things. My mother-in-law just died, and that reminded me, because when my husband was sick,
I think I need to give you a hug.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you so much. And when my husband was sick as a child, right? My mother-in-law was so scared, because she had lost a child. My husband's elder brother. She lost that one, I think, 3 months before my husband got sick. And my mother-in-law was so scared that she carried my husband, forgetting she was naked. It was at Maryland that the husband now drove to before he met mommy. Naked, carrying the child, rushing to the hospital from K2.
That's just an affirmation of the fact that when a woman loses a child,
so you can see,
it's more than something. It's more than life.
Yes,
it's something one cannot give a terminology for. You can't find a word for it.
How is your mommy?
Oh, she's fine. She's okay. She coped eventually, because, and that's one funny thing about the culture. We have a beautiful, robust culture that addresses every situation. I remember that mommy used to say this often, that she had a friend who was barren. And then each time she came around to console my mom, instead of joining everybody consoling her, she'd be like, at least this one, you are the owner of this one, you gave birth to this one too. And so, and that was, it might sound so insensitive.
I was in 2025. It definitely will sound insensitive.
But that's just it. That's just it. Most times, like someone said,
everything is so insensitive in 2020.
Like someone said that if you collect your report card, especially those days when your teacher will write blue and red, why is it that the red portions or segments is actually where your eyes will go to first? You don't acknowledge those things that you have. You just, we amplify what we do not have, and that we cannot help it. It's some stuff are irretrievable. You can't bring them back. So why bother so much about it? You just have to continue life with the remaining. The nature is left in your custody. So if you have a children, again, I said it is harsh. It is brutal to lose 4, but you still have to remember that there is someone who is actually praying that. In fact, I like my culture, and please permit me to say this in Yoruba. That is, you understand?
Yeah, I remember. Please do.
Let me translate it.
Okay. Let me say it this way. When I was trying to conceive, and when, depending on what you are looking for, where you are, you see people. You kind of see your kind of people. So. And I will see on the comment section, people will say, even if you just to get pregnant, to tell their in-law that they are pregnant, let the pregnancy, let them have miscarriage. They didn't care. Do you understand? And I say, God forbid. I understand the adage that the woman who is considered barren, or who
like that.
Do you understand? Just want to prove that she is potent, or she's fertile. Do you understand that she's fertile by just let me get pregnant, even if it's miscarriage at the end of the day, and they don't care. Do you understand? But I think that's at least
the ideology of that culture, even though it sounds primitive, is that if I at least
be
get
able to conceive
and give birth, at least they will be calling me the name of that, even if he or she is no more.
And that's just so sad. That just, thank God there are other ways that women can conceive in 2025. That's just so sad.
Thank God for tech.
Yeah, thank God for science. Yes. So I don't want to dwell so much on this particular aspect, because I don't want to start crying. But let's move to your next book, if that is
Cry
okay.
is part of life.
Unfortunately so. So let's move to the next book.
Okay.
The September rain.
September rain.
And oh my God, did you know that each time I see a rat out there, what do you think comes to my mind?
Kapikaye, right?
Why on earth? What inspired you to write that non-fiction?
First of all,
why did you nickname a rat Kapikaye? But before you answer that, let's start from Umuma. Is it Umuma? The grandma in Umama.
Yeah. It's a Ghanaian terminology for
grandma.
From mama. Yes. I think mama.
So there was a place I really love that if you contextualize it to another aspect of life, you could see the meaning comes to life, where you say a goat is a goat. Regardless, I'm paraphrasing, a goat is a goat, regardless of the shape. Even if a goat becomes bigger, it can never become a cow. And I say, wow. Like, regardless of the size of a goat, a goat will always be a goat. It will never become a cow. And that was because that was Umama
the little Frippong.
It's
just sometimes unfortunate that you can't exchange certain anatomical features in human being, or else I would have just loved to claim some portion of your brain.
Serious?
Because I was like, what is Amika saying? Is that in my book? Come on, you. I think there's a sense in which story gets you, and once it holds you, you don't leave it.
Yes.
Honestly, I was surprised. I was trying to remember, did I say something like that? Until you puncture it, until you ended it. So I give it to you. You have a retentive memory.
Oh,
so yes. So that's where the story started from. Frippong was, being a child, he would call grandma and say, whenever they heard us, were going with their flock, for pasture, for greener pasture, to feed them. And then he would scream and say, Mama, come and see big goat. Yeah, so, and the Umama eventually, maybe she eventually got tired and she was like, no, a goat is a goat. This is a cow. This is not big. There's no big goat anywhere. So
what inspired you to write that? How do you come to terms with such narrative that got you so hooked? You don't want to, if you read this book, The September Rain, you wouldn't want to drop that book until you are done. I think about 200 and something pages, and it's so incredible, beautiful read. So tell me what inspired the book, The September Rain.
Well, I wouldn't know what inspired that particular portion, because when you start...
No, the whole book. Let's talk about the whole book.
So, man, what inspired me? Sometimes I lived a lot of solitary life.
Okay.
Or don't let me say a lot, because people will start saying...
There is a lot. That's the life I live.
People start asking, how old are you?
but yeah. I love that too. I told you, I like to be my own.
Perhaps because I didn't do much girlfriend, boyfriend when I was supposed to do it.
Okay.
When I was mature to do it. But I was not just interested, because I didn't like what I was seeing around me, and I felt that I needed to be more serious. So I stayed alone a lot. And one of those days, I must have seen a rat. Then sometimes I remember there was a time I wrote something on Facebook.
Okay.
I saw ants, these tiny red ants, when they are going. Do you notice that when they meet, they greet, they join head, like they are like handshake.
It's almost like where are you going to?
We don't know what they are saying.
How are you? Why are
exactly.
You?
So that day I was just focusing on them. What are they saying to? Why are they always kissing? Before they move to wherever they're going, and then from there the thing snowballed into deep thinking. I think everybody is a natural philosopher. So I was just like, what could be possibly going on in their mind? Do they have brain too? as tiny as they are, you can't even figure their ears. That means it's a culture in their system that when two of them meet, I mean, you know, when their paths cross, they have to do that ritual. And then, you know, normal human being or an abnormal human being like I am would want to probe into that. Why are they always doing that? Then it snowballs into wanting to think that or question, do they even have brain? Because it takes a creature to have a brain before you begin to do certain stuff.
As a tradition.
Yes, observing that protocol. So it just started from there, and then I abandoned it until I saw rat. So rat, I don't know. It depends on where you live. I think they are everywhere in the world.
They are everywhere, even in America.
I don't know if you have ever chased a rat and then it will stand like this. Sometimes perhaps they do that to intimidate you too, or to sometimes when you are saying something. For instance, take war gecko, for example. You can be looking at war gecko like this, and once you stand up to go take broom, then it runs. So they have brain. Perhaps they do, I don't know. So they have that thing that we cannot see or get to know on the surface level until you probe further. And that is one of the features of philosophers, you know, people who are researchers. So that's how it started for me about Kapikaye. I just wanted to, because these are domestic creatures. We find them around us, cockroaches and all of that. But I think, so the reason why I chose rat was that I knew that rats have their mama. They are categorized as mama, and they use them a lot for science, research, to test injection drugs, you know, all of those stuff. Their anatomy is different. So, and if you open up a rat, you will see that the skull is there, white as just like that of human being. So that's why I chose rat, and that's how it started. I just wanted to know what is going on in their mind. What are they possibly saying or talking about when they see human being?
If I recall, again, everything I'm saying, I'm paraphrasing. When Uncle Prepon moved into the house newly, a lady that came to feed the chicken, right, said, "Have you not heard?" Something like that, trying to like whisper to him that something was wrong with the house, right?
Yes.
So if everybody knew something was wrong with the house, why then did the landlord not do some renovation before renting it out again?
For instance, in Lagos, most houses, landlord don't stay with them. So I didn't even consider the landlord. I killed the landlord from the story.
Okay, so so I give you that. So again, why does he have to leave the house because of Kapikaye? And not just leaving the house, he actually left Nigeria because of Kapikaye. Please make it make sense to me, because I felt so hurt. Why?
Fripong is a Ghanaian.
I know.
And don't forget, it's also the whole story is also, that's why it's fiction. And every fiction should speak to some certain reality of life. So that story is a parody of life. Some tiny stuff that are not problems to some people might actually frustrate you out of life. So, and even if we must even go there, if you see serpent, snake in your apartment like twice, and you have phobia for stuff like that, you can pack out too, right?
That is different, because for Kapikaye, you could just decide to like.
But I had to allow all of that Kapikaye's nuisance to continue, so that I will be able to pass my message. And all my messages, the messages I pass is in the length of that story.
Because another tenant, that's the way my head works. Like, I'm now imagining, okay, another tenant will now move into the house and it will start another struggle with Kapikaye. Oh, I can't remember if we finally found it. No, we did. They didn't. So, but let's not even ruin the book. You need to pick up the book, The September Rain. It's just a beautiful read, and you're going to enjoy it. So, moving on from that, let's talk about our reading club.
Oh, I need to sit right.
VLC. You remember when we started, when I came to you, I said, we need to start a radio culture because I couldn't read by myself. And I knew that, okay, beyond class lectures, everything you've learned in school, there is more to life than the normal school stuff. Right? I wanted to know more. I wanted to develop myself in a way that I can stand tall and be confident in who I want to be, I desire to be. Okay, I know that people will argue that there is nothing like an ideal self. But at the time, I have an ideal self, the kind of woman I want to be. And I knew that I needed to make reading my partner if I'm going to get there. So I spoke with you about it. And why did I speak with you? You read. You've always been reading because of Jagunlabi. We didn't even mention Jagunlabi, but read the book, you understand who Jagunlabi is. Jagunlabi is a man you really would like to have an encounter with, at least get to understand him and hear his own perspective about life. But let's move on. So you got reading, you started reading, you fell in love with reading. You didn't even fall in love with, you didn't have a choice. You didn't even have a choice than to start reading as a young boy, right? So, but I saw that as an inspiration, even though you saw it as not so fun thing to do, but it made you who you are. You become this person who can easily write and speak and all of that because Jagunlabi ensured that you all read. So when we started, do you want to talk to me about it? Because one of the things that I love is we started as, I think, up to 15 of us. I am not sure.
Were we up to 15?
I can't remember.
I'm not sure too.
Because now we're about 7.
You know, sometimes you just be online, you don't know who and who.
Yeah, I'm not with you. Okay, I'm not sure again, but at a point people stop coming because it's not easy. Reading is not fun. It's not fun. It's not fun to read, but with commitment and everything, you have to be there. So tell me why you show up every day, every morning. You show up to read with us. Why do you do? Even when nobody is showing up, even if it's only me, you are always there to read. Tell me why.
You know, this life, everything connects. I remember when I was at Igbora, you know, the most annoying period you wanted to be on the farm then was when it rained. But if you had something to pick there, you still have to go. And you will always have something to pick on the farm because that's your livelihood. So I think I built tenacity there that you may not like it, but it's necessary. You have to do what you have to do. So that's why I started by saying that everything connects. So I wouldn't even know whether it was the background that I had. While I encountered my dad, you know, it was a rite, it was a ritual in our home. You just have to read, whether you like it or not, whether you were sleeping or not, whether you have a headache or not, you just have to read. So all of a sudden, when we got or gained our freedom, when we left Lagos, I never opened book, and I became so stupid. You know. So I became so stupid. Can I say the word stupid?
Yeah, it's fine. Of course. I don't want to no, you can. It's fine.
Okay, so let me find a better, what's a softer word? I became ignorant. Okay. Is that okay?
Anyone you say is fine. It's not for children anymore.
So I felt that there's so much. There's always something in man that is always curious. You want to know. Except perhaps the category of people that I just mentioned, and I don't want to mention their name, because you just want to know. You just want to know as a child, and that shouldn't die even when you become an adult. So when I came back to Lagos, I remember my brother. My brother was, I think he gained admission at 23. Then he studied mass communication. He came back with that zeal and fresh passion. He started a publication in Oyo State. By the way, we're from Igbora. At Oyo State, you know, I think the name of that magazine is Heptagon, I think. Is it Heptagon or Octagon? So, which symbolizes the 7 Ibarapas, you know. So, and the thing was fairly doing well. I remember it was Baba Lati that came to do the launching, you know, at the inauguration day. So, very young boy at that time, maybe 24, 25. He was doing well. Then he was calling reporters and writers from different places, you know, to join. They were contributors, but I couldn't contribute a jack. I couldn't. He wanted me there. I could see that he wanted me in the crew, but I was not fit into that crew. I remember the reason why I said he wanted me there was I remember he would give me a portion to draw cartoon because I could fairly draw too, and put my name, Ayo Omotola cartoonist. And if care is not taken in life, you know, sometimes people will help you, perhaps out of consideration, out of empathy, they will help you to define your life. Unconsciously, I could have just been decided to be a cartoonist, but all of a sudden something happened. And I don't know if I can say it. I just have to even say it, even if you ask me not to say it, because it's a way of preaching the gospel. My brain got activated when I started reading Bible. Yes, and it was at the same time I gave my life to Christ. So I don't know which one worked, but I know I'm sure of the Bible because I love story. You know, you see again how things connect to other. So I love story. I read Samuel's story. I read David's story, how he from wilderness came to the palace, and then it's looking like my story. And then it's making so much sense. I took it personal. And I read Joshua, I read story. It was after then my sister now gave me a book. See, there are coincidences in life and you can't run away from it. That is how like your destiny is
like
determined. Yes, exactly. So my sister gave me a book. They knew I didn't read. Why did they even give me? I don't know. The book is titled Path to Greatness, and I'm still looking for that author. I wish he is not dead yet. His name is I've forgotten the name, but I remember.
Okay.
Path to Greatness. Kayode Kushimo. Kushimo. Please, yes, Nigerian author. I want anybody that knows that guy, that man, to please connect me with that guy. So, in that story, it's a motivational story, and that's why sometimes again, I criticize people who criticize churches for doing motivational speaking. You need to be motivated to activate certain part of your brain to be functional, to be human, because a lot of people, one way or the other, by situation of the country, by circumstances of the family, you lose the motivation to live. So you need to be triggered. You need someone to feed you with those, those steroids to make you come to your senses. So I read the story. In that story, I saw the story of a farmer and an eagle. Yes. So the farmer was coming from the farm. Let me just paraphrase it. Coming from the farm, he found the egg. Then he had a poultry, and then he took the egg out of curiosity. So he gave the egg to one of the chickens to hatch, wanted to know what the egg was, and eventually it became something strange. And then the newly hatched chick was roaming and, foraying with other chicks. They had the egg. So they were flocking together. All of a sudden, one day, one afternoon, an eagle wanted to prey, and he perched down and he saw this strange bird, and he was like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. And the eaglet laughed and cackled and said, what are you asking me? What a question. I'm with my family, of course. He said, no, these are not your family. So the eagle, the mother eagle, would come every day to convince that eaglet that you don't belong here. Fly. And one day he said, you asked me to fly. I can't fly. Even my mother, referring to the mother chicken, cannot fly above the level of the roof. He said, no, you're different. You're a special species. So all of a sudden, eventually, the eagle prevailed, and then the eaglet tried its wings. I don't know if it's a she. So that's how she flew away. So he said, then I remember it's my story, because at that time I was somewhere that you can't be proud to stay or leave. Where guys will hide guns under your roof, sell weed close to your door, bring out machetes when there is crisis, rob, and they will tell you how the events went when they went to rob, kill. But out of that ashes, I just have to begin to
test your wings.
Yes, test my. So I began. So I was like, what interested me so much was about reading at that time was, so beautiful stories like these are hidden in books. Only God knows what I have been looking for that is buried in one book that I refused to open. So I began to read. So that's just a different.
Wow.
That's just, then all of a sudden I remember how my brother would say, Ayo, how did you do it? I can't remember how he put it, but I saw the shock. So
that you moved from this person that we're almost written off to this amazing person that is even now much more than
we
thought.
And I think that I agree with the fact that human brain is plasticity.
Of course, you can expand.
Yes, you can expand it. It's just like the way you gym. Human brain is. So that's just it. I enjoy telling that transformative story.
That's so inspiring too. And look at your story. I didn't know the background of your story, but I got inspired by the fact that you are a reader, and I wanted that culture in my life too, and I'm doing it, and that has actually impacted every sphere of my life. I love it. Even the way I react to people. You need to see me before now. Yalode. I think I wrote about it yesterday on Facebook. Now I just look at it. Okay, go ahead.
I remember when we came together, Yoruba will say that again. I'm doing Yoruba.
Yeah,
Yoruba will say, but when we came closer,
it wasn't easy.
I saw the fabric that made Abike, and I know it's the same with her. So we had conflict.
Yes, of course. And I'm so thankful that you didn't because we had to figure it out.
So our egos were bruised.
Yes.
We brushed each other because Abike is a red.
Yeah, strong red, guys.
Sorry. Decorum. We are on podcast. Abike is red. Abike is a dictator.
Oh my God.
A good dictator though, because she always wants things to stop now. You don't want me to cap it. Actually, so how did we even get to know about this color thing?
We were reading.
We read a book. Surrounded by Idiots.
Idiot by Thomas Erickson. That was my best book just because it transformed my life. No, the Bob Proctor transformed my life, but not as much as the color, Surrounded by Idiots. Because before I read that book, when I ask you a question, as anyone a question, and they give me what I perceive to be a dumb response, I go, children, I don't understand. Like, are you dumb? Like in my mind, that's the interpretation I would get. Like, why is this person so slow? Why, But I got to know through that book, Surrounded by Idiots, that it's just their colors, not them. So it's just so wrong to project or to assume just because you are certain where other person should be. So I now look at things from not just from my perspective now, from other people's perspective. Because don't forget the beach ball it's an illustration that he gave. Beach ball comes with like different colors, red, blue, green, yellow, blah blah. So if I'm telling you what I'm seeing is red, and this person is saying if they are seeing yellow, why doubt them? Because that's what they are seeing. Do you understand? It's just a beach ball scenario. So thank you.
Before we read that story, we read it. We didn't finish that book.
Which one is that? Which one of the books?
Daniel Goleman.
Yeah, emotional intelligence.
Because before someone recommended that book, emotional intelligence. We needed it actually. We needed it. Everybody needs that book. It might not be Daniel Goleman's emotional intelligence. There are so many write-ups about emotional intelligence. I said that book is kind of complicated and complex. You need to, so I read that book, and what appealed to me so much in that book is the social skill, having social skill, being sensitive of people's mental condition, because you don't know where they're coming from. And I remember my tribe will say that when 9 people are going this way and one person is walking against them, and then a stranger comes to meet this guy and say, why are you not walking with these 9 people? And be like, if them, they are idiots. So the summary of the story is that it's that guy that is an idiot. Because how can 9 person be an idiot? If
no, there is also depends on the context.
I know you don't agree.
I don't.
I know
it depends on the situation, because 9 people can actually be idiots while one person is clever.
It's possible actually.
Exactly.
But out of deep thinking from the Yoruba cosmology and culture, out of their belief, 9 persons, it's hard for 9 persons to be an idiot, and you are the only person that is wise. And you remember the story of the tortoise that thought that he was the wisest person, and then he was trying to climb a tree, and then he was having a pot, a gourd, because he wanted to go and tap wine. And then it kept falling. Then a frog now said, tortoise, what are you doing there? He said, I wanted to climb to tap the wine. He said, but if you want to climb, take the gourd from your stomach and put it at the back, because you need this place to climb. And then he considered himself as the wisest. So it's an illustration that keeps reminding us that we cannot, there is no human that nature give the absolute monopoly of wisdom. Yeah. So when a lot of people are saying, and I remember, because I try to get knowledge from different angles, there's a story a Muslim friend told me, I think it was Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who told the disciples that each time you are arguing, and you're arguing against 3 persons, agree with them. And in fact, there was a story I think God eventually wanted to teach that person a lesson. The guy said, this is the place they buried the guy. I don't know if I'm correct about this story, but people will correct me. I trust them. So he said, this is the guy they buried the guy. I mean, this is the place they buried the guy. And then the other guys were saying that, no, it's not the place. It's actually the place. But they said, okay, let's exhume, let's excavate the ground. And then the place was empty. And then the place that was actually wrong, that those people pointed to, they dug the place and they found the corpse there. So God just used that to tell the guy that don't argue against people. There's power in consensus. There's power in number. So when, so when it's always good to, you might not agree with them, but try to reason. That's the lesson.
That's what I want to say. I don't have to.
How can 9 persons be an idiot and you are the only one?
Yeah. Okay. So like I said, yeah, exactly. I think that's what I would just say. Okay to that, because it's not just about being an idiot. It's about, okay, I might not agree with you. I might not agree with your stance, but okay, I see you, I hear you. You understand? But if you now say that 9 people are foolish, 9 people are going this way, and I know, because I've done my research early on, that this is the right path. You are telling me this is the right path because 9 people are going there. I don't agree with that analogy. However, if you are presenting your facts in any way or form that I might not agree with, I will listen. I will acknowledge it. I might not agree with it.
I'm also a supporter of having courage to stand alone.
So, which comes to you have to also be courageous enough to say, okay, even if people dislike me, I'm fine because I'm convinced in my conviction.
And that should take us to another book. You mentioned the courage. The courage
to be disliked. Yeah, we read that one too. I can't even, whatever. I can't even remember this.
Kishimi Ishiro, something like that.
Thank you.
I can't remember. I think it's Japanese. I think there are 2. The book was authored by 2 persons. I mean, 2 professors or scholars.
I didn't even get their names, but the book was so good.
That book too. We read it in VLC, right?
Yeah, we did. So, but one of the greatest books I've read in my life is anti-fragility, the things that came from
the guy's name, right?
No, Nasan Talabu. So Nasan Talab Nicholas is his name, but the things you gain from disorderliness or something like that.
Yes.
It was another great book for me. But anyway, thank you so much for
okay. I would like to connect that anti-fragility to where we started about my mom. Where did she get that strength and courage? Because like I said, that things will always intervene. You know, life is a journey, and in that journey there will be a lot of interventions of nature, of divinity, of human errors. So you just have to develop anti-fragility against crisis of life, or else don't be too fragile. Like you can be
like a grass.
Yes,
a glass.
You are permitted to be cracked, but don't be broken.
Like a ball, you can bounce a ball as much as you want. The ball is still going to be solid, but a glass of an empty glass, when you smash it on the ground, it's just going to break like that. So you have to
fragile, man.
Yeah, exactly. You have to really be so.
And again, if you crack, if you don't get broken, if you crack, those cracks will become a mark and scar.
Did you know in Japanese, I'm not sure about this, but I think in Japan, for instance, Japanese people, they like mending the, what do you call the dish? What do you call them?
Okay, the big cauldron, the pot, the clay pot.
No, not the clay, the glass, the breakable ones. When they break a plate, or they have a way of mending it back.
Oh,
ensuring
they
that
don't want to throw it away. Is it that expensive?
No, not that. I think it's their culture to say that even cracks are part of life challenges. So when you overcome this,
Abike, you too sabi book. Abike, they read. Nami. Okay, don't let me say that, because she will keep saying that AY made me to read, and now Abike is reading behind me. No wonder. I talk him. I say I wanted to, if I have the chance, I would borrow a part of your brain that remembers stuff. No wonder you've been reading behind me. It's okay. It's allowed.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you so very much.
So, in fact, I don't want us to prolong this more than this, because we have a lot
even behind the camera, we talk for 2
hours. Exactly. So,
and if not that you are saddled with some domestic responsibility, sometimes you have to prepare the kid and cook for your husband. We can talk for days. I know.
Of course, I know. There is always something to talk about.
But Abike, do you know that? Don't let people hear.
Say it, guy.
Do you know that there was a time I actually wanted to walk out of this relationship? Those times that we were talking about, I was like, Abike is tough. I forget his stuff.
I'm a better
but I was like, go back there. Do you know how many people you will meet in this life? So honestly, I'm proud of us, because I don't think
now we can communicate. Yeah, we couldn't even communicate.
Aside that, I think there is nobody who would come across in life that can rattle us. I don't think so. At worst, we would rather leave you at your, with your whatever nuisance value you are bringing. But it's hard for me now to say someone is stupid, someone is foolish, because you can't blame people. People are coming from different places of background, experiences. Some people were battered. Imagine you see someone as a porn actor or actress, and then or a porn star, and you are judging them. Do you know where they are coming from? Life is not unkind to people. So when they cannot take it, again, the Yoruba will say that Karole Kamagbo, that not all the dogs will not bark when they see thieves. It's just like the economic situation of the country. Some people are taking that for excuse why they are going into online fraudster, this Yahoo thing. Some people cannot manage. And I think what is called humanity or human being is when you are a full balanced person. a well-molded human being. You have to develop yourself to that point where nothing actually rattles you, nothing actually, disorganize you or hack your brain.
But you also cannot give what you don't have, because
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you have to
develop yourself.
Exactly.
We were not like this.
We were into. We were
but I was better. I was fair.
I wrote about
this anyway. Do you know why I said? Do you know why?
I'm so surprised. I wrote about it on Facebook.
I did see.
I was just looking at myself yesterday. A woman called me. A woman that I gave a tailor. And I gave my Irobu battle. We had an agreement and all of that. And she later called and was asking me to pay extra money. And I quietly asked her why she would ask me to pay extra money, that we had an agreement. And she raised her voice. I'm trying to tell you. I said, you are shouting at me, and I don't appreciate that. No, the way I actually responded to her, she started, when I went back to see her one-on-one, she understands, I said, good evening, ma. Good evening, ma. Like, do you understand? Her voice changed in me because I didn't give in to her, whatever she was bringing to it. I didn't give in to that, and I was just so proud of her. This within these few weeks. Now I've noticed it's narrow like that up to 2-3 times. Like the way I now respond to situations. I'm just so proud of myself. The good thing about
it is that when you are kind in response to something that should get you angry, you disempower the person. Another
thing, when you mention anger now, I no longer see everything as being angry. I now have different names for that. Sometimes frustration, I feel powerlessness or whatever you call it. I feel disappointed. I feel frustrated. I feel annoyed, because I feel like when you say I'm angry, anger comes with so much emotion that you want to like punch someone on the face. But now you could feel frustrated, irritated, disappointed. I feel so powerless. I can't do anything. So I feel like giving them different names, unique names, as per what they stand for, depending on the context of the situation,
before we round
kind of reduces the stress on you rather than rattling you in a way that
so giving it another name will actually can help you to reconsider
how to respond. That's what I'm saying. You could look at somebody that you consider saying something to you, just like, I'm just disappointed. Why do I need to respond to you? Or I'm so frustrated with this. I can't deal with this. You know what I'm saying? So you could also and look at, I'm annoyed, but what should I do to correct this, to get it? So I discovered that giving it different names, instead of saying I'm angry. Anger is a very deep emotion, like deeper than frustration, annoyed, disappointed.
And that reminds me an ancient proverb that says that nothing, it's not even an ancient proverb, it's this neuro-linguistic definition of, they have a saying that says that nothing has meaning except the meaning you give to it. So if you rename something, it can rename, recondition or reposition the state of your mind. So,
shifting your paradigm like Bob Proto taught us.
There's no time to talk about
no time. So, thank you so much, Ayo Omotola, for coming. I'm so happy to have you here today. And I hope you enjoy our conversation. Thank you for watching. If you have any comment, any opinion, any question, whatever it is that you have to share concerning our conversation today, kindly write it down via comment section.